Hi there, it's me, Kate, Bookturing Retriever internationally. I'm linguist and founder of Lingua, and this is episode 6 of our podcast, Adventures of a Curious Linguist. I continue complaining about the guide. If you're watching this episode for the first time, you've never heard of our podcast, check out our episode 4 and 5, where I'm talking about the guide. Have you ever traveled by night? Like, have you ever taken a bus, like a night bus, night train, or night flight? It can be tough, right? Well, even though it was our bus, meaning that all our friends were with us, still it was quite uncomfortable. We were traveling from Paris to Berlin in one night. The idea was to arrive in Berlin at 6 a.m., spend the whole day in Berlin, and at night move further. Oh boy, guess what happened? If you watched previous videos, you know, probably, yeah, you could guess, right? So while we were traveling in France, it turned out that our Polish drivers and our guide couldn't read French maps. So it took us 2 hours longer to get out of French suburbs, like probably Parisian suburbs, to get closer to Germany. But even worse, we lost another hour when we took a wrong highway or whatever you call it in France, not Autobahn in Germany. Again, due to this issue, they couldn't read the maps. And I remember that waking up sometime at 2 or 3 in the morning and seeing how our bus stopped and the drivers together with the guide were looking at the map, like the local one, like for tourists. And they couldn't figure it out. In addition to all those inconveniences, I had some stomachache, so I wasn't really a good sleeper that night. So I was watching them, seeing what was going on. But I was clueless. I really didn't know that we got lost and that there were issues. I hoped for the best. And when around 5:30 in the morning, we started gassing to city suburbs in Germany, and I could see ruins, ruined buildings. I thought, oh, that must be Berlin. That must be some sort of monument or a historic site from World War II, whatever it is. Oh no, how mistaken I was. Around 6 a.m., we indeed stopped. And I thought to myself, wow, we're just on time. Everybody was sleeping, but the guide had her own plans. She took a microphone, woke everybody up, and said, "Welcome to Magdeburg." What? Magdeburg? If you check Google Maps, something like 200 kilometers from Berlin. How come? Everybody was still sort of dreaming. So we thought that we mistakenly took her words for truth and maybe it was just a joke. But no, we were in Magdeburg and it started raining as hell. It was just showering. And as you can imagine, it was morning. Everybody felt like going to pee. There was some sort of complex of street toilets, whatever you call them. And guess what? When everybody ran out, that rain Well, let's say not everybody, the majority of people. I stayed inside, and a couple of more people who were sleeping. When the majority of people ran out and got soaked immediately, it turned out that these toilets were closed. It meant that they had to come back. Well, to find another place, but still come back. When they got back, it felt like we were some place with such a strong flavor of probably gym, fitting rooms, whatever you call it. It was stinky. Horrible moment. Because we couldn't stay any longer inside the bus, as you can smell wet clothes, well, sweat, wet sneakers, and whatever was there. And suddenly it did. Our bus turned in a fitting room when girls were trying to disguise, to secretly change their clothes into dry clothes here, not to show too much of guys, but it was like impossible. Somebody was screaming. It was nuts. But the guide didn't lose her temper or her cool attitude. Said, let's go on a tour. It was raining. It was still not even 7 a.m. People desperately wanted to go to the bathroom. And she offered to go on a tour to a nearby church. And here, like in a movie, we observed how our group of enthusiastic students got broken into two. Suddenly, we got a leader who was for exploring everything locally, maybe going shopping, just resting in Magdeburg. And another leader who was saying, no way we're staying here. We haven't paid for visiting Magdeburg. We're going to Berlin. And you may ask me, but what's the issue like? We stopped in Magdeburg at 6 a.m. Why can't we go to Berlin straight away? Just 200 kilometers, maybe by 9 or by 10 we'd be there, right? No way. After a long drive, a bus engine must rest. At least 9 hours. 9 hours. It means only at 3 p.m. the bus can move. So it gives us like what? A few hours in Berlin at night? No way. Oh boy. I was indeed struggling to make my choice. On the one hand, I still didn't feel quite well, and as I didn't get much of a sleep, and like who knows indeed why my stomach was aching, probably after French frogs. I don't know what I tried from French cuisine, but yeah, I was feeling like a bit achy. But still, I really wanted to go to Berlin. And there were my own reasons why. But there was an issue. We were like underage people were going, just a couple of adults, like one proper adult and one of-age girl. And out of our group of around like 10 people, maybe more, I don't remember, only one person spoke German. Wow, I'm only danke, hallo, auf Wiedersehen. But we went. So we packed, we took umbrellas, we took everything we could, and we went. And we agreed with the bus that we would meet them in Berlin at night around like 6 or even later in the center. Oh, what a trip it was. First to figure out Whereas U-Bahn, S-Bahn, so which train to take, collaborate collectively, finding our cash, giving cash, yeah, who is student, who is not, discounts, gets on a train, and then Berlin. And there, well, we had some free time. To be honest, we were more interested to go around the center and go to one of their shopping centers, Galeria. And all the dialects were like, hello, hello, bitte, bitte. But when I was asked a few times something comprehensible, the only person who spoke German would run up to me and translate. Oh, just whether you have a card, or you're going to pay with a card, or you have a discount card. And I was saying everywhere, yeah, yeah. So like, yeah, bitte, yeah. Cashier's waiting, yeah. Well, very similar story to the guy at the French reception. Another episode. But that girl had to run around all of us. Like, everybody was buying something, yeah, getting confused. So at some point she was like, guys, I'm done. Survival course is over. You're on your own. And there we were really on the bridge of getting lost in Berlin. Like, we got lost in London. But we decided not to go far away. And it was a pity for me. Because one of the reasons why I was so eager to go to Berlin was a newly constructed Radisson Blue Hotel with a huge aquarium. Huge aquarium. And when I say huge, it's like the whole building. Unfortunately, we didn't find the aquarium, even though it was somewhere central. I was so afraid to get lost in Berlin without German and without any phone call, yeah, because it was so expensive. But we saw a bit of Berlin. I was happy that I did it, because it turned out that our Berlin friends would arrive not even at 6, but around 8. And we would wait for them around the zoo. I was thinking, God, that time it was elephant stinky. But that's not all. Can you guess what happened to that hotel with the aquarium? Well, years later, literally 10 years after that trip, when I went to Berlin, I got a chance to stay in that hotel. I came to Berlin to give a talk to entrepreneurs, one of accelerators, and well, my trip was paid, hotel was paid, this. So at first I stayed at Airbnb, but on my way back, so I was staying in a hotel. And that hotel was exactly that building. And I had a chance to stay in a room with a view at this aquarium and even go on the tour there. Wow. That was like me teenage time, blown away. I highly recommend to visit any place that has some sort of peculiarity, like hotels, some interesting place, you're in an interesting location, or with something inside, like with an aquarium. Share with me and share with us, with our team, any story, any place where you've been and you got your mind blown away. Or a story where you found yourself in a country, you didn't speak their language, and you didn't know how to communicate. Yeah? Or any story about your guide. Any linguistic discoveries. Share on your social media, tag in Amalingua, yeah, hashtag Amalingua. We're going to select the best stories and publish on our social media channels. Ciao!